And now, I'm pleased to turn the podium over to AARP's newest partner, and I'd like to thank him. He is a sponsor of the Innovation Conference panel that we're about to have, Lamont Guillory of the Lohr Foundation. As Chief Communications Officer and leader of the foundation, Lamont drives the organization's external presence within the broader philanthropic and rural communities. He ensures Lohr represents the voices of the people that make up our vibrant, growing, and culturally significant rural towns in the West. He advances important dialogue on the future of livability among leaders, policymakers, the press, funders, NGOs, and national associations, with the message that Lohr is steadfast in its approach to community-driven solutions. He is providing important leadership, and we should all give him a wonderful round of applause and listen to the next panel.
Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. So, you know who I am. I'm Lamont Guillory, and as Nancy said, I am the Chief Communications Officer for the Lohr Foundation. And the Lohr Foundation, for those of you who don't know, we focus our giving in the Mountain West. And the Mountain West for us is Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and New Mexico. And that's give you some bit of a landscape on where we do our giving. So that's who I am, but more importantly, I'm here today to serve as your MC for the Innovation Showcase. It's a really great showcase, some really innovative ideas that are going to come out of this. But before I get there, this is my first time being at the Livable Communities Conference, and I'm really excited to be here. And one of the reasons I'm excited to be here is that I've long admired AARP's leadership through the lens of livability. And why does that matter to the Lohr Foundation? I mean, heck, we have livability in our name. Lohr is livability, opportunity, responsibility. Livable communities in the rural context means a lot. It's really important. There's real innovation. There's real grit happening in livable communities in the rural context. And so I'm here on behalf of the rural communities throughout the entire country, but representing the Mountain West. To give you a little bit more information about the Lohr Foundation, we focus our grant making through the lens of elevating the rural voice and accelerating new ideas. Hence the reason I'm up here to be the MC for the Innovation Showcase. Some of the things that Lohr does through our grant making and facing the real challenges that rural communities are looking at, some of the things we do is improve quality of water. Clean drinking water is really important to the Lohr Foundation and is a real issue in the Mountain West. We also focus on transportation. I hear transportation as a reoccurring theme throughout this conference. Health is a reoccurring theme throughout this conference. Education is a reoccurring theme throughout this conference. All of those things are really important in the rural context, and the foundation's really steadfast in trying to make sure that we first start by listening to rural communities, then we convene, we talk about the problem, we identify a set of solutions, and as a funder, we co-create solutions with the people on the ground to see if those solutions might work. So that's really exciting and what's different about the Lohr Foundation's approach to its philanthropic mission. And so let's transition over to the Innovation Showcase. And I'm really eager to hear from the speakers this morning. One of the things of a leader of a foundation is the ability to be able to sit and listen. And now we have an opportunity to sit and listen to some really cool ideas. And so I'm really excited about that. And to give you a bit of a context of what this is like, this is a really rapid-fire innovation showcase. Each presenter will have 3 minutes. I know, 3 minutes. Gene, 3 minutes on the innovation showcase. And I reference Gene because Nancy's innovation showcase lasted about 35 minutes. Kidding. So as we listen to the presenters, there's something that I would like for you to do. I want you to think about your community. I want you to pull inspiration from the great stories that you'll hear and wonder how those innovative ideas and stories might be applied to your communities, might be applied to your region. And also think about not only the application of these innovative ideas, but also whom might those partners be. Nancy touched on several different partners, public, private, philanthropic, community leaders. All of those are really important. So think about those things as you hear from these innovative stories. And then after you've heard of all of these stories, I want you, if you have a chance, to stop by the lower booth in the showcase room and share us your ideas. Give us your ideas. We're really big on collecting ideas and sharing them and then putting them in practice. So with that, I would like to begin with introducing the very first presenter, Mary Michaels, who will share innovative ideas from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Hello, I'm here to talk about an event called Move Well Sioux Falls. And it's really great that the Westin knew I was coming because my room key says Move Well, so it was destined to be. But it's all about how do we take a health issue like physical inactivity and change the conversation and get people's attention. It might be putting an image on a room key to remind people to get up and get moving. Or it might be holding a community fitness festival to showcase the resources available in our community to help people be active. So as we were planning this event, we had coworkers in our community health center working to address colorectal cancer screening and trying to increase screening rates. But many of our underserved patients can't afford a colonoscopy. So they came to us with an idea of starting a 5K run, walk to raise some funds to help those patients get screened. So with a nod to the color of colorectal cancer awareness, the Blue Move 5K was born and became part of our Move Well Sioux Falls Fitness Festival. Now, I'll give you a minute to contemplate in the context of colorectal screening the initials of that event. Yes, we pushed the envelope a little bit. And yes, that sock has toilet paper and plungers on it. That was one of our runners. We had almost 90 runners of all ages come out, walk, run along the stretch of our bike trail, and at the end of the event, they got to pass through the colon, which was a highlight of everyone's day. And it was a great way to kick off our morning. The rest of our activities followed. Our mayor proclaimed August 11th as Move Well Day in Sioux Falls. He ran the 5K and stayed for some of the activities afterwards. We had 27 different organizations, gyms, chiropractic offices, a state park, come out to the park with free activities. Pilates, strength training, yoga, dance, gymnastics for the kids. We had chair yoga and rousing games of pickleball. All in all, we had 80 different free activities in 10 to 15 minute increments for people to try. Now you might think just the younger crowd went to boot camp and the older crowd went to chair yoga, but not true. We were so excited to see the amount of intergenerational activity and play. I mean, we even had yard games and hula hoops and things just for people to get out and play, as a reminder of all the things we have in our community that can help people be active on a day-to-day basis. We had great business sponsors who ensured that we had plenty of cold water on a hot South Dakota day, healthy snacks, a first aid station for all of our participants. Several hundred people came out to the park for a Saturday morning to try different ways to be active and to be social. So we were thrilled with this for our first response. We're already planning for next year. So if you happen to be in our neck of the woods on August 10th, 2019, stop by Sioux Falls for Move Well Sioux Falls. Thank you.
That was really impressive. Exactly on 3 minutes. I now know that I have to jog to my next colonoscopy. Thank you. Next to the stage is Joe Abacola, a volunteer with AARP in New Mexico.
I forgot my bike bell. That was my high-tech bike bell on my fabulous flip phone. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here to talk about your road to health and wealth by bicycle. Show of hands, how many of you enjoyed biking as a kid? Well, almost everybody. That's great. So at AARP New Mexico, we are helping to bring back the joy of your youth and promote livability through biking. And the great thing about biking is that, and livability, is that they go together like peanut butter and jelly. And biking actually touches on almost every aspect of livability. One reason why biking is so important is that it actually can make you younger. And I'm turning 97 this year. Thank you very much. If you would like to know more about this groundbreaking research, you're going to have to Google it because we don't have time in 3 minutes. Google bicycling in the New York Times, March 14th, 2018. So what are we doing in New Mexico around biking and livability? We are piloting some bicycle workshops that we developed. The first is called Your Road to Health and Wellness, Health and Wealth by Bicycle. We also did a workshop called Fit Over 50, How Bicycling Can Change Your Life. And we surveyed the participants and learned a ton. We got a 100% response rate by giving them these fabulous goodie bags for turning in their survey. So what are some of the benefits of the participants of these biking workshops? We're obviously motivating people to live a healthy lifestyle. The first benefit is to share the many health and financial benefits of biking. I've already touched on one of the health ones. One of the financial ones is if you were to actually reduce your household by one vehicle and invested that money over 15 years, you would have over $257,000 by giving up one vehicle. We also provide, another benefit is guidance on picking out a bicycle and gear. Very important, we cover how to do biking safely. I'm a year-round cyclist. I've biked over 47,000 miles, and so we picked up a few good tips there to share with folks. We cover special considerations for folks that are 50 plus. And very important, we answer questions and address the concerns from attendees about biking in terms of what's holding them back. And then finally, we provide resources on how to get started biking after the workshop. So what did we learn? Shocking. One of our workshops, almost 80% of the attendees were attending an AARP workshop for the very first time, and the majority have indicated that they are highly likely to bike within the next 12 months. So as the Chinese proverb goes, talk doesn't cook rice. If you want to help your folks live healthier in your community, please reach out to us at AARP New Mexico. Thank you very much.
Very well done, Joe. Next to the stage, please welcome Laura Poskin with an innovative idea from Pittsburgh.
Tom Hanks is currently in Pittsburgh filming a movie starring as Mr. Rogers. Pittsburgh is, as some of you may know, the original Mr. Rogers neighborhood. About a month ago, Tom Hanks posted this picture on Twitter. Love thy neighbor, no exceptions. His caption, the spirit of Pittsburgh, great town. 12 days later, this picture was taken in Squirrel Hill on the day that 11 people were killed in the synagogue attack. Love thy neighbor, no exception. In Pittsburgh, we explain the age-friendly movement as making our region more inclusive and respectful of every generation. So basically, our work is about loving your neighbor. Think about it. Take any project, take improving a crosswalk. Essentially, what we're saying is, we care about you, we respect you, and we want you here. Take any petal on that World Health Organization flower. Take housing, social participation. What we're really saying is, we care about you, we respect you, we want you here. So long before all of that, in the spirit that I just talked about, we dreamed up what we call Color Beachview. Beachview is a neighborhood in Pittsburgh that is undergoing rapid demographic change. It's a neighborhood with a lot of longtime residents and a lot of newcomers, or kind of code for young professionals and immigrants. To love your neighbor, you first have to know them. And before that, you have to meet them. So we invited residents of all ages and backgrounds to 3 art-making sessions at a senior center. We teamed up with an artist whose work fuses wearable technology and active motion, and she let us play with her LED devices and create art that was then installed on the facade of the senior center and wrapped on a light rail car that snakes right by the front door. The result? A vibrant public space that everyone owns, new confidence with art and with technology, but perhaps most importantly, especially in light of everything that's happened, this beautiful intergenerational dialogue that wouldn't have been sparked otherwise. And we're hopeful that this is just the beginning. The city has expressed interest in replicating Color Beachview at other senior centers around town. But regardless, we're dedicated to following in Mr. Rogers' footsteps and really saying through our work, we care about you, we respect you, and we want you here. We've got a lot of work to do, you all. Thanks.
Lori, thank you for that reminder that love matters. Next to the stage, I would like to welcome Emily Shea, who will share an idea that worked in Boston.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So Boston joined the AARP network of age-friendly cities and communities in 2014 under our mayor, Martin Walsh. I'm going to talk to you today about our Civic Academy, I gotta switch that, project that's part of our Age-Friendly Boston Action Plan. Before I get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out. My partner in all things age-friendly, Andrea Burns, is over there. And we actually had 42 individuals from various organizations and city, state, and federal departments involved in this effort as planners and speakers. So really that shows the power of partnership. Some of them are right here in the room today, so I'd like to thank the Massachusetts Executive Office of Elder Affairs, AARP Massachusetts, and the Tufts Health Plan Foundation. Thanks for helping us make this a reality. In our needs assessment, we heard from older adults that they felt like their voices weren't always heard by elected officials and that they wanted to play an active role in shaping their future. So we created the Civic Academy, a 5-day, 38-hour class for 25 residents over the age of 55 focused on aging advocacy and policy at the city, state, and federal levels. We recruited a diverse group of participants from all over Boston. First, they learned about issues impacting older adults in the community, economic security, health and wellness, social isolation, and more. Participants learned and practiced public speaking, elevator speeches, and effective grassroots advocacy skills. They get to see how government works at a city, state, and federal level by talking to elected officials, hearing from budget directors, learning from city, state, and federal department heads, and touring and getting comfortable with City Hall, the State House, and the federal buildings. The last day they graduated, giving their elevator speeches as a graduation requirement, and then did speed dating with advocacy organizations. They spent 15 minutes with each organization, learning what issues they were working on and how they can get involved in their work. The best part about this project was how our older adults felt afterwards. The participants said things like, "Seniors often feel invisible. By getting a voice with this academy, they'll at least hear us, even if they can't see us." Another said, "Thank you for making us feel important." And finally, "I've never been political before. This class made me believe that my participation might be of value." So what's next? UMass Boston Gerontology Institute worked with us to create the curriculum, did a pre and post evaluation, and are now finalizing a replication guide so that this concept can be spread throughout Massachusetts and beyond. And our graduates are coming back for a reunion, helping us figure out how to take it to the next level. And of course, we'll be hosting another Academy class next spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Next to the stage is Ava Bonilla, who with an idea from Age Friendly in Fort Worth, Texas.
In 2017, Fort Worth was the first city in Texas to receive the age-friendly certification, thanks to the support from the city, staff, elected officials, community partners, Fort Worth residents, and our 8 domain leaders, and of course, our Associate State Director, Melodia Gutierrez. In 2018, Age Friendly Fort Worth entered into our implementation phase of Age Friendly Cycle. We understand that a strategic combination of support from public and private partnerships is essential to build age-friendly community. In order to meaningfully serve the community and leverage the support of our elected officials and to remain as a leader in aging in the city, we knew that incorporating businesses into our age-friendly efforts was essential. Therefore, we developed a set of criteria, application, and processes to become an age-friendly business. Introducing our certified age-friendly Fort Worth business designation. There are 3 steps to become a certified age-friendly business. Number 1, apply. It's free and simple. Number 2, evaluate. We will review businesses to identify any needed age-friendly improvements. And 3, commit. Pledge to address any concerns identified. Our volunteers track and organize information. One of our priorities was to launch the age-friendly business designation by fall of this year, and we did it. We had an advocacy day at City Hall in August, and at that time, we certified 4 businesses: a local restaurant, bank, law firm, and health science center. Currently, we have 8 businesses on board. We're working on businesses and expect a lot more when we launch our age-friendly website by the end of the year. We partner with the Dementia Friendly Fort Worth and University of Health, Fort Worth Health Science Center, and they're the ones that are providing businesses with dementia training, so important. Certifying age-friendly Fort Worth businesses ensures that Fort Worth will remain a top-tier city in which to work and play for residents of all ages. Takeaway. Takeaway. It's extremely beneficial and strategic to include the business community in age-friendly efforts. By including the business community in your age-friendly plan will not only add dimension to your local efforts, but also make business experiences more friendly for residents of all ages. Thank you.
And now to the stage, let's welcome Irene Stewart, who will share an innovative idea from Age Friendly Seattle.
Thank you. Good morning. Age Friendly Seattle, like many communities represented in this room, is working to make our city a great place to grow up and grow old. One of the ways that we're doing that is by helping our community learn how to make events and meetings accessible to all ages and all abilities. Age Friendly Seattle wants people of all ages and all abilities to feel welcome and included. And this goes way beyond the ADA requirements for public events. Participation should be easy. For many of us, it is easy, and for many others, it is not. For some people, They avoid going to events because they can't get there physically, and that's not just because of transportation options. Physically, they cannot participate without certain accommodations and considerations that would make them feel more welcome. But also, there are a lot of people who don't see well and don't hear well, and they'll avoid public events too because they can't participate in a meaningful way once they get there. For those who recognize that they have a disability, and not everyone who has a disability does recognize that, they're not always willing to request an accommodation. Consider if you needed to request an accommodation for every single event that you attend. So Age Friendly Seattle created a guide, a community guide to accessible events and meetings, and we are helping people consider a range of ages and abilities from the beginning. Accessibility should not be an afterthought. From venue selection to event setup, room setup, the needs of people who have mobility challenges or invisible disabilities like hearing loss, like vision loss, certain cognitive disabilities, all of these must be considered. Our guide is 30 pages long, and it is chock full of checklists and tips for making your event effective for all people. Recently, we incorporated a matrix of a range of different accommodations that make it possible for people who have hearing loss, or people who are deaf, or people who are deaf-blind to participate. There's no one-size-fits-all accommodation for hearing loss. There's a lot of misunderstanding about it. The guide is available online. You can go online right now on your smartphones to seattle.gov/age-friendly, and you will see it immediately. We encourage you to download it. We encourage you to adopt the content. We'd love to hear from you if you do. We'd love to have reviews because we are continually updating the guide as we learn more about what it takes to be welcoming, inclusive, and have effective and meaningful communication with all people. So again, visit us today, download the guide, use it, share it everywhere. We'd love to hear what you think.
Thank you, Irene. Next to the stage is Sue Lassard with an idea from Bucksport, Maine.
Good morning. Show You Care is a social marketing campaign whose aim is to ensure that the Bucksport Bay area communities are walkable, accessible, and safe, so that all residents may participate fully in the life of the community. As background, in 2014, the town of Bucksport, population 4,924, lost its major employer and more than 40% of its community valuation. After more than 100 years as a mill town, the town was faced with the daunting challenge of reinventing itself. And I can tell you that what happened next is nothing short of amazing. The community did not wait to be fixed or saved from the outside, and it did not look to the redevelopment of the mill site to be the catalyst for progress. Instead, the community came together in a myriad of ways. Local residents formed groups to work on the future of their community, and the local community government worked on being more business-friendly. And everyone worked on making our community a community where people of all ages and abilities would want to live, work, or start a business. In partnership with the Bucksport Bay Area Chamber of Commerce, the Bucksport Bay Healthy Community Coalition Senior Resource Group, and the town of Bucksport, Show You Care was born. This is an all-volunteer group who meets monthly to work on accessibility issues in our community and making those better. Their accomplishments thus far: public transportation improvements and the development of an area transportation plan, changes to local zoning regulations to make sure that accessibility issues are prioritized in our community, developing brochures for Show You Care, working with the town to develop an accessibility grant program for local businesses, educating local businesses on the financial benefits of being accessible to people of all ages and abilities, an inventory of local streets, sidewalks, and public facilities with recommendations for changes, many of which have already been instituted. They serve as the advisory committee to the town relative to its designation as an AARP age and ability friendly community. And annually, they award a golden shovel to the business who does the best job of keeping the sidewalks in town safe and clear. Show You Care is a program that proves the power of the positive, born of a desire to make things better through collaboration, cooperation, and community engagement. Show You Care is making a difference in our community every day. Thank you.
Fantastic, Sue. And now for our last presenter, Katie Kuchner, with innovation right here from Charlotte, North Carolina.
So I work with the Centralina Council of Governments, and it's a regional planning organization right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. In North Carolina, all area agencies on aging are housed within Council of Governments. This provides a unique opportunity for planners and aging services staff to partner to plan for livable communities for people of all ages. So by a quick show of hands, do we have any planners in the house this morning? All right, yeah, the planners. What about aging service providers or community advocates, volunteers? Excellent. So this is really exciting to see us all here together, and this is a reminder that we must be intentional about continuing these partnerships to further this important work. So Centralina has been involved with a variety of mobility management initiatives with the purpose of enhancing transportation options for older adults and people with disabilities. We all know transportation is a lifeline to connect individuals to community services and supports. One mobility management strategy is conducting walkability audits at and around existing bus stops. Walkability audits impact a number of the domains of livability listed here. So walkability audits are a method to identify barriers to accessing transportation. So I know what you're thinking. Your plates are full, you're already wearing multiple hats, but we have good news. AARP already developed a walk audit tool, and it's just ready and waiting for your agency to adopt it. So the tool reviews intersections, sidewalk connections, driver behavior, and public safety. Our organization modified the tool to also evaluate bus stop amenities like shelters, benches, and lighting. And when you're planning a walkability audit, don't do it alone. This is an exciting opportunity for community engagement. And a lot of people might not realize that walkability audits are fun. Just check out these orange vests. So this really is a time to partner with the community and involve older adults, people with disabilities, caregivers, and community advocates. One of our most successful walkability audits was in the town of Mooresville, just about an hour north of here. They have a mayor's senior roundtable that meets on a monthly basis to evaluate aging issues. So we were able to partner with that organization to also recruit local elected officials and transit staff to participate. Walkability audits not only identify barriers, but perhaps more importantly, they make recommendations for improvement. The recommendations are then shared with community stakeholders. Sometimes the solutions may require funding or more problem solving to implement, like depending if the bus stop's on private property or a city street or a state road. But sometimes the solutions are simple, like educating local business owners about where they place sandwich boards or educating citizens about where they put their trash cans on pickup day. So in conclusion, walkability audits educate, engage, and empower community members. They identify barriers to transportation access and develop action-ready recommendations for creating a more livable community for people of all ages. Thank you.
Okay, that was very impressive. Not one presenter went over 3 minutes. That's innovation in itself. And as each presenter came to the stage, I quickly realized that I became Who's That Guy in all of your Instagram pictures, Facebook posts, Twitter posts. I'm standing right here in the back of everyone's picture. So I'm Who's That Guy, hashtag Who's That Guy. Please join me in thanking every one of the showcase innovators. Give them a big round of applause, please. I look forward to continuing to learn from everyone here at this conference. I do want to thank AARP. I want to thank Nancy and her team. I want to thank my team. But most of all, I want to thank all of you in this room for coming here, participating, being engaged, being encouraged, and continuing the motivation. So thank all of you, and have a great day.